What's up, gamers? It's yo boy. I don't have a funny joke this time. I don't have a funny joke this time. But do I have a funny joke ever? I suppose that's for you to decide, but the joke is that I don't. So if you think of it that way, then like, is the joke even funny? The answer is no. The answer is no. My jokes are not funny. I am not a funny person. Which begs the question, why are you watching me? No idea. So one idea I've had for a while for like a big scripted video that I pour like all my heart and soul into is cutting the Smash roster in half. But the idea's been done to death, so I didn't want to like spend like a few weeks, even a month, working on a big video tackling the subject. So I've realized now, oh wait, I'm uploading every single day to this channel now, where I post my dog shit videos that don't have any research or effort put into them. So I figured, yeah, I can express a subject that I've been wanting to discuss for a while, here, since this is the channel that allows me to do stuff like that, which I am very thankful to have a channel like that, and I'm even more thankful that, you guys are willing to watch this kind of stuff. This video is probably not gonna do amazing view-wise, since it's not PvZ Heroes, but hey, I don't really care, I'll make it anyway. Watch time's gonna be bad too, because everyone's just gonna click off of my like self-deception. What the hell is the word? I don't know. I'm losing brain cells. Anyway, I figure to make this a unique video, we are going to be looking at this through the lens of not only what would the roster look like with with few characters, but also with half of the roster, mind you, but also, what would it look like if we only had 10, or 20, or 30, or 40, or 50, 60, 70, 80, this is that hypothetical, and then, I'm gonna, well no, if you remove Echo Fighters, then it's basically the baby mode version of this. And I don't want to go baby mode, baby. I want to go Giga Chad, balls deep. I'm gonna make myself as hard as I'm gonna make this as hard as possible. Fuck! Anyway. Horny jokes aside, because I can't seem to go a single fucking video without making a sex joke. We're gonna start over. Mario is obviously the most important Smash character. He is for sure going to be returning to the next Smash game. Nothing that you can do to take out Mario. Mario, if the Smash Bros was a game with only one character in it, Mario would be the one character represented in it. And fuck it, I'm just gonna go through this through a lens of sort of like, what would be like my personal ranking, you know, of how I would do this. And in that case, I think the second most important Smash character, the second most important video game character is Pikachu, hands down. I'm probably biased since I'm a very big Pokemon fan, and Pokemon is a lot of my niche on YouTube, so I'm gonna get a little like extra hard for the Pokemon, especially Pikachu. Have you seen that guy's penis? Fucking hell, another sex joke, god damn it! Granted, when looking for the next character to go with, it's either Link or Donkey Kong. I personally think that Donkey Kong is slightly more important, ever so slightly, because like, he's Mr. Video Game himself. One of the first ever Nintendo games, I think the first ever one, is literally named Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong is an extremely important part of Nintendo's history. And then, yeah, obviously Link is next. It's either Link or Donkey Kong, by the way. I mean, these guys are pretty much interchangeable. Link is part of, like, the Triforce of gaming, which Pokemon and Mario are kind of like the other parts of it. Well, Triforce of Nintendo, I guess. Hell, the Triforce is a concept from Zelda. You know what, I'm gonna put a Link above Donkey Kong in this. Just barely, though. Donkey Kong is an extremely important video game character, and I feel like Link has been able to stay far more consistently culturally relevant compared to Donkey Kong. It was in a bit of a weird state. We haven't had a main series Donkey Kong game in like a decade now, which... Fuck, the fact that the Wii U is that old now? Jesus Christ. I was a kid when the Wii U was a thing, by the way. I was in fucking elementary school. The Wii U is a decade old now. I feel fucking old. So like, who would I go for next in this? Maybe it's stupid for me to be going at this like one at a time. Even so, though, I think who I'd go for next would be Yoshi. Yoshi, very important Mario character, has his own series, and makes them slightly more important than like the Peaches and Bowsers, even the Luigis. And then I go for Kirby next. Kirby, yet another extremely important, impactful video game character, very iconic. The main reason why I put Kirby this high is because Kirby is the love child of Masahiro Sakurai, and Sakurai is the creator of Smash Bros. I think that allows us to be a little bit more biased of Kirby characters. Well, mainly just Kirby himself. Meta Knight and DDD, I'm not nearly as sure, honestly. Kirby's a really big series, don't get me wrong, but it's not the biggest series. So I might end up being harsher toward it than I'd want to be. And then after that, I think it's a good time to add Samus here. Samus, another very important video game character. Metroid may not be as relevant now as it used to be, but Metroid used to be in like the Triforce of gaming before Pokemon was a thing. I'm actually gonna put Samus above Yoshi and Kirby for that reason. Samus, very important character. A reason why Samus is the 4th character in Smash Ultimate's roster. And then next up, I would actually go Luigi. Luigi is an extremely important character, just extremely important. Smash is made, well, not Smash itself, but I mean, Mario is the Mario Brothers. You gotta include his brother in there. Luigi is a very iconic character next to Mario. It may not be nearly as recognizable as Mario, but Luigi is, like, arguably more popular than Mario. Luigi has a bigger fan base than Mario. People generally love Luigi more than Mario. I feel like one of the few people who, like, genuinely loves Mario more than Luigi, but I still really like Luigi. Luigi's a really fun character. Just super solid character all around. Yeah, so then there's only 2 more characters for like my theoretical 10 character roster. And the next characters have to be Captain Falcon Fox. I could make them Peach Bowser. I feel like from like a Nintendo history standpoint, that would be a more understandable, reasonable roster. However, in my personal opinion, there are no better mascots for the Super Smash Bros. Series than Captain Falcon and Fox. They are both extremely important to the identity of Smash Bros. As a whole. They've been consistently good characters throughout their reigns, ignore Brawl. Brawl's actually really underrated, by the way. I just want to get that take out of the way. It's a decent game. It can be pretty fun to watch too. I mean, obviously Brawl ain't Melee, but I mean, it ain't bad. But yeah, Captain Falcon is the Smash Bros. Mascot, and then Fox is kind of like right there next to him. So then now we're going like in the 20s. This is where we like really had to think about stuff. Now, when making room, we had to go for like the most iconic characters, the most iconic villains, the most iconic protagonists, and at this stage of the game, we can't really do third parties. This has to stay a celebration of Nintendo if we are going for just 20 characters. And I mean, number 20th, I mean, I feel like Bowser is actually the most representative here. I mean, Bowser is the villain of Mario. Mario is the most important video game series, and right afterward, I would actually go Zelda before Peach. Zelda, another very important character. The series is literally named after her. The main reason why I put Bowser first then is just because I feel like, just as a character himself, Bowser's more iconic, and you can make that argument for Peach too. But I mean, Peach is right next to Zelda anyway, so who fucking cares? Another extremely important, iconic character for Nintendo. And then the rest of the picks actually start getting a little bit more difficult. This is where there becomes like actual challenge involved in deciding who we want to put into the roster. And I think we're gonna abstain from using ultimate characters at this point of the game. none of the Ultimate characters are, well, all the non-third-party Ultimate characters don't really work for a 20 character roster, except for maybe Inkling. Inkling could work, but I want to go for Inkling a little bit later. Which makes things interesting. A lot of the Smash 4 characters I don't feel like are good candidates for 20 either. Maybe Shulk? Maybe. No, I don't think Shulk. Xenoblade is getting more popular, but it's still relatively niche. So... Damn, this is tough. Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with Marth next. I feel a little weird representing Fire Emblem this early on, but Marth is a very iconic Smash character. Marth is kind of like the poster child for Fire Emblem in general. I feel like Marth is a really solid pick for a 20 character roster. Just he works really well, and then I may as well get Ness out of the way at this point too. Ness. I mean, Earthbound Mother. It's a very as a series, it's less iconic. However, it's got a huge fan base. People are extremely enthusiastic and passionate about the series right now. I'm watching I'm reading some Discord messages while I'm doing this shit. Oh fuck, my friends are fucking horny as shit. Anyway. So, those are like the easier picks. This is where shit starts to get tougher. I mean, we had to do Ganondorf, honestly. Ganondorf we gotta do. I mean, Triforce, we gotta get all the Triforce users in there. I'd actually say Ganondorf before Marth or Ness. I feel like I kind of just glossed over Ganondorf. The main reason why is because Ganondorf's Smash moveset is fucking dog shit. But as a Zelda character, I mean, he is a part of the Triforce, one of the most important characters in almost every game. Just an extremely important part of the Zelda series in general. I mean, he's gotta be in the roster. If we only got 20 characters, Ganondorf has to be in that roster. And then, and since we were working with just 20 characters, the most iconic Nintendo characters, I have a few ideas. We could either add more franchises, or another idea I had was adding a Pokemon. I'm gonna add a Pokemon first, and I mean the Pokemon that you have to add first is Greninja. Greninja is the most popular Pokemon of all time. I mean, he has to be in the roster. He has to be. I know Greninja's Smash moveset isn't necessarily super like popular or fleshed out among the fan base. However, in the Pokemon fan base, people love Greninja. Greninja is a very beloved part of Pokemon. And I mean, I feel like arguably more important than Greninja is Inkling. We gotta get Inkling in here. Inkling is the modern Nintendo rep. She has to be in a 20-person roster. Just absolutely has to be in that roster. Extremely important to Nintendo as a whole, and especially the modern history of Nintendo, because Nintendo hadn't released like a new IP in ages, and Splatoon ended up being a big hit. I feel like Inkling needs to be in a 20-person roster to represent what modern Nintendo looks like. Since most of a 20-person roster is going to be dedicated to like legacy picks as opposed to like those big new picks. I guess so. We may as well go for some more modern rep. I'm considering Olimar, since Pikmin is definitely a big series. It's still getting games, even if those games release very slowly. It's still a very important character. Another thing I could consider is the retro pick. If I were to go for a retro pick, there are actually some good options. My main ones to pick between are Rob, Game & Watch, and Duck Hunt. I feel like Ice Climbers is the least important of the retro picks, even if Ice Climbers has the best gimmick. And when it comes to retro picks, I feel like the retro pick I'd go for is Game & Watch, because Game & Watch represents the earliest history of Nintendo console-wise, and if we were to represent anything retro in a 20-person roster, I feel like it would have to be that. So yeah, I'd say Game & Watch is a relatively safe pick in such a roster. And then we only got one more pick left for this theoretical 20 character roster, and this is where shit's getting tough. I feel like damn. It's gotta be Olimar. No, actually, it's not gonna be Olimar. And I realized the reason why it's not gonna be Olimar is because I've been forgetting about Isabelle this entire time. Villager, don't get me wrong, is more conducive to what Animal Crossing as a whole is. But, I mean, Isabelle is basically the Animal Crossing mascot at this point. And Animal Crossing is an absolutely massive series now. I'd actually say that I'd actually put Isabelle above even Inkling in this. And I'd actually put Isabelle like as hot, even like above Marth, in terms of like the priority, because Animal Crossing is a huge series. It is a very beloved series. So yeah, that would be my last pick for a 20 character roster. And yeah, sadly Olimar does not fit onto a 20 character roster. Again, there are not very many slots that you can fill on a 20 character roster, but that's what those are my picks for what a 20 character roster would be like. So now we're moving on to the 30 character roster, and this is where we can finally add Olimar. I mean, again, Pikmin, big series, Shigeru Miyamoto, the Mario Donkey Kong creator, is behind it. So I mean, I feel it's very important to represent. It's a very important series to represent. And I feel like this is where I can add in Falco. And this is where I'm going to be showing a lot of Star Fox bias here, because in my opinion, Fox and Falco for sure are extremely iconic Smash Bros. Characters, even if Star Fox itself is not a very big series. Wolf, I don't know if I'm going to include Wolf, which is unfortunate because I think Wolf is probably one of the best designed characters in Ultimate, just from a gameplay perspective. But I don't feel like Star Fox is quite important enough, and Wolf doesn't quite have the legacy that Fox and Falco has. I might consider Wolf for the 40 character roster though, because that's ultimately like what the halfway mark is. But yeah, Falco for sure has to be in a 30 character roster. I mean, he's too iconic to Smash, even if he's not nearly as big of a mascot as like Captain Falcon and Fox are. And then I mean, we gotta add in another Pokemon eventually, and in my opinion, that Pokemon is gonna be Lucario. Yes, I'm biased because Lucario is one of my favorite Pokemon ever, but Lucario is also one of the most popular Pokemon ever. I think it's a very fair opinion to put Pokemon into a higher state. Like, I mean, I don't really have. And don't get me wrong, Mewtwo is more iconic, although I don't want to flood this with Gen 1 reps, which is a huge part of why I'm keeping Mewtwo out. And Pokemon Trainer is a far better gimmick. However, yeah, Pokemon Trainer as a gimmick represents Smash really well. However, if I were to represent Pokemon Trainer, I'd be using all 3 of these slots, because that's what, that's how it works on the website, I think. The official Smash website, documenting all the characters. So I feel like Lucario is the overall better pick for the 30 slot. Unless I were to just go Charizard, and by that point, I might end up doing that. And yet, despite that, I would be kind of cannibalizing the idea of just how cool Pokemon Trainer is as a concept. I'm split. I'm really split. So yeah, that's my explanation for why Lucario would be my pick for the Pokemon rep, for the extra Pokemon rep of a 30 character Smash roster. And I guess we can go Mario. I mean, Wario has to be added in at this point. I'd actually go Wario above Olimar even. Wario is a very important Mario character. I don't think he quite fits onto a 20 character roster. There's a lot of characters to cram into one. You can even, I actually think you could put him above Greninja potentially, but I think Greninja, I think having 2 Pokemon reps is more important than having Wario, despite the fact that Wario is obviously the more iconic character. Yeah, so I mean, Wario's kind of one of the no-brainer picks of a 30-character roster. And now I'm trying to think about who else to add next. This is where things get more difficult. Again, I still feel like most of the Ultimate characters are out of contention. The only ones that I think are in contention even are Ridley and K. Rool, which I'm more so considering for like a 40-character roster as opposed to a 30-character roster. And I mean maybe Byleth, but I mean I'm trying to be as conservative as possible with Fire Emblem reps. And generally, because generally Fire Emblem is getting a lot bigger. It does not need 8 characters. It just does not. Like, even 4 characters is a little excessive, especially in a 40-character roster. Yeah, I'm still not going to go third parties either yet, by the way. I might start experimenting with some third parties in the 40, maybe 50 rosters. But for the most part, if you're going to go for a small roster in a Smash game, you have to make it a celebration of Nintendo as opposed to a celebration of gaming, because you just do not have enough slots available to afford that luxury. Oh yeah, I guess we could have another legacy character at this point. And at this point, I'd actually make it like a Wii legacy character. And don't get me wrong, I'm saying this because I'm nostalgic as fuck. Which means that our options are either a Mii Fighter or Wii Fit Trainer. If we're going Mii Fighters, then we should probably have all 3 of them, which means that 3 character slots are going to be cannibalized with this. Wii Fit Trainer, though, has been supplanted by a whole other series, so if you want to represent the Wii series, I think you had to use the Miis. And the fact that you have creatable avatars, it's a cool concept, it's a cool gimmick. I think I'm willing to put all 3 of them in for a theoretical 30-person roster. I know a lot of people don't like the Mii Fighters in Smash. However, I think the Miis are a very important part of Nintendo history. They've always existed. They even continue to exist today. Even if shit like Nintendo Switch Sports tries to pretend that they didn't exist, which is stupid because Miis are genuinely one of the best ideas Nintendo's ever come up with. One of the best character creator tools ever made. And the games that contain Miis are always so charming. If anything, I just want Mii games to be Mii and Wii series games to be more represented better in Smash. And for these characters, because in current Smash, these characters are treated like Smash originals, where I feel like they should have more care from like Mii and Wii games in them. Because there's a lot of routes you can take with those games, because those games are very charming. They aren't just soulless dog shit. They are extremely charming, well-made, well-developed games. I might end up putting these into a 40-character roster, but I am very adamant on the fact that we should keep Miis if we are trimming the roster down for Smash Bros. Wii history is just too important not to leave out. Just too important to leave out. And now I gotta think about what else to do for the 30 character. Pretty much none of the characters on the top row I'd consider. Actually, I think... No, we can go Pit. Pit's important enough. Pit's definitely important enough. Another Masahiro Sakurai character, which gives you a lot more leeway with adding him. I'm actually gonna boost him up a little bit for that reason. And I'd say that Falco is probably like a little below Pit. Yeah, so Pit's definitely very important to Masahiro Sakurai, the lead of Smash. I feel like that should always be considered. Although I'm not going to be considering it much with other Kirby and Kid Icarus characters, because I don't want to be too biased toward Masahiro Sakurai here. But yeah, Pit's definitely a very important character to have in a 30-character Smash roster. And now this is where things get interesting. What I'm thinking now is either we add another we add another first-party Nintendo rep. Honestly, wouldn't add ARMS. Oh yeah, right. We still got our retro slot. This is a tough choice between Duck Hunt and Rob. A really tough choice, actually. What would I choose? Fuck, this is tough. I think I could go Rob. Rob saved gaming. So I think I'd be fair to put Rob just a little bit above Duck Hunt for like a retro pick. And now the other options I have are add another Fire Emblem rep, add another Kirby rep, or add another what is it? Donkey Kong rep. I'm thinking I'm leaning toward Kirby, but I don't feel like either of the Kirby characters I necessarily need on a 30 character roster. Donkey Kong, though, I definitely feel like I would need. So do I go with Diddy Kong or K. Rool? K. Rool is a character who is not very relevant nowadays, but he was very relevant to Donkey Kong at a time. But I feel like I would go Diddy Kong just because Diddy Kong is more relevant nowadays. I think that's fair. So that's the 30 character Smash roster. I feel like this is where people are going to start disagreeing with me a lot more. And honestly fair. My me take I know is a hot take. I know that's like a very hot take. So now we're moving on to the 40 character. Do I even add another Pokemon rep at this point? I don't think I do. Because if we're trimming half the roster, then we want to represent more series, and at this point, Pokemon has been represented perfectly fine with Pikachu, Lucario, and Greninja. So now the question is, which, I guess I was saying, which characters do we represent now? I'm looking through the top row, and nothing's standing out to me at the moment. Mewtwo is a consider. Same with Charizard. I think I'm gonna not commit to either of them though until we get to the 50 character roster. Oh, actually, now that we're at the 40 character, I think we're fine to add in another Fire Emblem rep. I would have added another Fire Emblem rep for 30, honestly, but the Mii characters take up a lot of space. So it's a choice between Byleth or Robin at this point. Those are kind of the only ones that you can go with. And my choice is Robin. I mean, Fire Emblem Awakening saved the Fire Emblem franchise. It prevented Fire Emblem from dying. I think that Robin is a very important character to Fire Emblem. So he'd be my second pick for a Fire Emblem rep for sure. And I feel like we can go another Kirby rep now. Meta Knight or DDD? I think DDD is more important than Meta Knight. So yeah, DDD would be my Kirby rep choice. And now we go into, oh yeah, right. And then should we represent more Metroid? Is a good question. I'm not going ZSS. So the question would be, do we add Ridley in this 40 character roster or not? I think we do. Quite an important character, quite an iconic character, and I feel like by the point of a 40 character roster, we definitely are itching for another Metroid rep. And then yeah, I mean it gets so much harder. Do we even bother with another retro rep at this point? Oh, actually, we gotta add Shulk. For sure we gotta add Shulk. I'd say Shulk is an even bigger priority than Ridley in this case. I mean, Xenoblade may not be huge, but it's big enough to where I feel like Shulk should be represented in a 40 character roster, like for sure. Um... So, I'm doing some more digging. Should we bother with a retro character is a big question that I'm asking, and in my opinion, maybe. I'd actually say no for this. Rob and Game & Watch are plenty enough for a retro rep. So I think we're fine without them. I might actually discard Rob for the 30 character roster and do Robin instead. I'm considering that. You know what? Fire Emblem Awakening saved Fire Emblem. I think it's fine to have a second Fire Emblem rep for a 30 character. I'm not going to be adding any more Fire Emblem for 40 character though, fuck that. There are already too many Fire Emblem characters. Roy is too similar to Marth. Ike is a pretty unique character, but by the end of the day, he is still just big, brawny swordsmen as opposed to big, graceful swordsmen like Marth is. So what do I go with now? Yeah, one thing. Oh yeah, a character I wanted to add was Rosalina. When it comes to Mario reps, your only real options left are Daisy, who was horribly executed. Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. is a pretty important character. Don't get me wrong, but when it comes to adding in another Mario character, I mean, obviously Braun, that's just a joke. Rosalina is the modern Mario rep. Well, I say modern, but Mario Galaxy is like over 15 years old now. Jesus Christ. I act like that's a crazy thing. I was like 3 years old when Mario Galaxy came out. So Galaxy 2 was actually what I played as a kid. So yeah, fuck man, I don't have the capacity to speak using my vocal cords. Hope you guys enjoyed the smooth jazz in the video. That's speaking more than I am in the I'd say shit man, this is tough. I think at this point we are ready to free third parties. And if we are freeing third parties, Sonic is the first one we're adding. Like, duh. It has to be Sonic. And then, if we are adding another, it's gotta be Steve. I think Sonic is like the rival of Nintendo back in the day. That's the main reason why Sonic is the most important third party to represent in Smash. The fact that Sonic can even be in a game like this was a huge bombshell back in Brawl. And nowadays, don't get me wrong, the novelty's dead, but at the same time, I feel like Sonic is such an important part of video game history. And then Steve is probably the biggest part of modern video game history. As soon as Minecraft came out almost 15 years ago, Jesus Christ, Minecraft has become the most popular game of all time. Which, yeah, I mean, you gotta represent the most popular game of all time in the celebration of gaming. I think those are the only two third parties I'm gonna add, though. And now the question becomes, what else do we add? There's a lot of clone characters in Melee. This is where shit starts getting like particularly tough. I feel like there's a good argument for adding Duck Hunt. Like a legitimately good argument for adding Duck Hunt. Hell, there's even an argument for adding Byleth at this point, even. I'd say K. Rool is a very important character to represent. I'm gonna go K. Rool. I think K. Rool is very important. I mean, like, in general, we need more villains, and K. Rool is a very important villain. I know he's not very relevant nowadays. I'd say even those third-party characters are more important to have in the game than K. Rool, but K. Rool is still a very important character to have in the game. I mean, it's fucking K. Rool. Which means that now, my options are becoming even more limited. I'm heavily considering Meta Knight, just to complete the Kirby trifecta. Because, I mean, those three characters are very important to just Kirby and as a whole. Meta Knight works a lot as like a modern Kirby rep even, which... You know what, I'm gonna do Meta Knight. I think Meta Knight's important enough to have in a 40-character roster. I know that means we're having 3 Kirby characters, and, like, I know Kirby isn't the most popular Nintendo series, despite being very popular, but I genuinely do feel like Meta Knight deserves that placement. Which means that we're now down to just 1 character. We are down to the fucking wire here, and this is where shit gets real fucking tough. The main candidates I'm considering are Duck Hunt and Mewtwo, honestly. And if I had to pick one, I'd say Mewtwo. I think Mewtwo's more iconic. So, is there like any original Nintendo IPs that I've neglected? No, I don't think so. Yeah, I've represented all the original Nintendo IPs at this point, which means that it's just side characters and third parties that we gotta go over now. Well, I mean, Punch-Out's a retro for the most part. Don't get me wrong, Punch-Out Wii does exist. Punch-Out Wii is one of my favorite video games of all time. But, I mean, Little Mac is represented fucking terribly in Smash Bros. Like a complete fucking butchering of everything that Punch-Out stands for. So, like, I honestly don't want Little Mac in the series for that reason, because Sakurai's just gonna fuck it up again. I'm actually so angry about how dog shit Punch-Out representation is in Smash. Because the way that fucking Little Mac is played is just insulting. It really is, like, legitimately insulting. To anyone who's a Punch-Out fan. But yeah, now we are down to the second half, which means that this is probably when people are going to become less interested in the video itself, but hey, I still think that there's good discussion to be had on what a 50 character Smash roster could look like. And I mean, at this point we're free. We have a lot more freedom. I feel like Pokemon Trainer, this is where we have them in. We're free to have Pokemon Trainer finally, because we aren't competing for nearly as much space. I could even actually see Pokemon... I think it gets... Realistically speaking, you could swap out Sonic, Steve, and Mewtwo to have Pokemon Trainer in a 40-character roster too, but I think they fit more in like a 50-character. And like, yes, I know that's a lot of Pokemon, but Pokemon is a very popular series. I think it's justified. So then this is where we can for sure add Duck Hunt. I actually say Duck Hunt above Pokemon Trainer. And like I want to minimize the amount of Pokemon. I want to minimize the amount of not Pokemon, but brain fart. What the fuck was I even talking about? I will never remember. Yeah, I mean, I guess at this point we can go for more third parties. And this is where things get interesting. Snake, I feel like you gotta have for a third-party character. I mean, Snake in Brawl is one of the most bombshell reveals of all time, and while I don't think he's nearly important enough to have on a 30-character roster, he's gotta be in a 50-character roster, for sure. And, I mean, Cloud, I feel like, is the other one, and the other bombshell character that you gotta have on a 50-character roster. Because Cloud just completely changed what could be a Smash character, because Square Enix is infamously stingy, and that's gonna affect Square Enix, and that's gonna affect. I mean, realistically speaking, Cloud is gonna be really hard to get into in the next Smash game. I know that, but we are in Fun Theory Town, where licensing issues are not the thing that we had to be concerned about. Therefore, Cloud is in this 50 character roster for sure. Almost certainly. Basically no one in the top row I'd actually consider for maybe Aiko. Where do I... Oh yeah, this is where we can add Wolf, by the way. This is definitely where we can add Wolf. Wolf, yeah, and actually looking at the 40 character roster I created, Wolf does not fit, unfortunately, tragically. But in a 50 character, we can totally fit Wolf. Wolf is one of the most well-designed Smash Bros. Characters of all time, and I mean, Star Fox in general, while not being a very important series, is a series that's represented so well, just spiritually in Smash Bros. That I feel like we can be more generous toward Wolf than we otherwise would have as a result of that. And then, yeah, I feel like Villager we gotta add at this point too. Cause like, Animal Crossing, very big. Yes, I know that, because like, the reason why I waited this long on Villagers, because Villager's like pretty boring character choice compared to Isabelle. Granted, Animal Crossing is so huge that by this point, despite them being semi-clones, you gotta have another one. So that's where I'd add Villager. I'm considering Bowser Jr. pretty heavily. I'm trying to abstain on third parties as much as I can. I feel like Snake and Cloud are kind of the only ones you really can have in a 50 character roster without it being just completely overrun with third party characters. Because that's kind of something I didn't like about Ultimate, the fact that every character was a third party, the fact that people were expecting a third party every single time, when like, Smash Bros. Is a game about Nintendo, and people just kind of forgot about that with Ultimate. The development team forgot about that in Ultimate even. Who knows though, maybe I'm just a Smash purist. And then... Oh man, this is tough. When it comes to third parties though, Pac-Man and Mega Man I'm actually really considering. I'm really considering Pac-Man and Mega Man. So... Little Mac I'm also considering, because Little Mac is a very, is a pretty iconic character. But I honestly think that the picks I would go for are the more boring ones. We need Fire Emblem rep, Byleth. I feel like this is Byleth's time to finally be added. Three Houses is a very important game. It's a very modern game to represent Fire Emblem, and he's the only character to use the multiple weapon system, which makes him just inherently more interesting than the other Fire Emblem characters. I think that this is Byleth's time to shine. I spent a little bit too long beating around the bush to get Byleth in. So, and now the question is, who do we make our last character? I've been debating about this for the longest time, but I think the character that I would pick is Lucas. Yes, I know Earthbound Mother is not a huge series or anything, but Ness is a part of the original 12, and holy shit, the Mother 3 fanbase is fucking so passionate. These are some of the most passionate motherfuckers in the world. These people love this game and Lucas as a character. So I think Lucas just barely etches himself into a 50 character Smash roster. So now we're going into the 60 characters roster, and this is where it becomes kind of free real estate for the third parties. We're adding Mega Man and Pac-Man for sure. I'd say Pac-Man's a little bit more important, because Pac-Man has just has been around longer in gaming, has been more of like a gaming mascot. As a kid, I always have recognized Pac-Man more than I recognized Mega Man. Not to discredit Mega Man though, Mega Man is still a very important, very big series. And I've known it. I actually didn't know about Mega Man until it was revealed in Smash, but I was also a fucking elementary schooler when Smash 4 was out. So, for anyone who was an adult while Smash 4 was a thing, don't you feel fucking old to know that the dude who was in elementary school back when Smash 4 was being announced is currently an adult himself? I like making people feel old. It is very funny. By the way, I was 10 years old when Harambe died. That's That's a fact right there. Just people never remember how young I am, because they hear my deep-ass voice and think I'm like 27. I actually have mixed thoughts on my voice, honestly. I kind of wish my voice was a little less deep than it is. People just in general mistake me for being older. And I'm like, guys, I have the biggest fucking baby face in the world. How do I look old to you guys? I have a fucking baby face. Again, though. So, I mean, I think at this point we're free to add in another Fire Emblem. And, I mean, Ike's gotta be it. And then... Do we, oh yeah, for third parties, Ryu is pretty important too. I feel like Ryu deserves to be in a 60 character roster. Little Mac, this is where we add him to. I hate how Punch-Out is represented in Smash, but Punch-Out, very passionate community. I know because I am a Punch-Out fan, and I fucking love these games. And I'm trying to abstain from, like, clones, semi-clones as much as I can. Where do we go with Pokemon rep? Honestly, this is where we finally add Jigglypuff. Now, this is the thing. Everyone is like, oh, Jigglypuff would have been in the 20 character roster for most people. Because, oh, the original 12, this is like the sacred church of religion. We have to put Jigglypuff in a 20 character roster because Jigglypuff has always been in Smash. And it's just like, guys, it's fucking Jigglypuff. In terms of Pokemon, this thing hasn't been relevant in like 3 fucking decades. Wait. Now that chronologically is impossible. It was it hasn't been relevant in like 2.5 decades, man. Not to say I dislike Jigglypuff. I like Jigglypuff. It's a cute Pokemon and it has a lot of personality. I just fucking hate this idea that that being original 12 means that you have security, when that's bullshit. I mean, Jigglypuff has been almost cut in like every single Smash game except for Ultimate. Like, Jigglypuff is not as safe as you guys think she is. Damn, I almost misgendered Jigglypuff. Imagine how fucking angry Twitter would have gotten at me for that. By the way, I support trans rights. That was a joke, guys. That was a not the trans rights part, the whole misgendering shit. People are gonna hate me regardless of what I say, aren't they? Anyway. What do I add next? It's an interesting one. Oh yeah, for sure this is when we add Bowser Jr. This is also when we can add Palutena as well. Because Bowser Jr. because Mario big, and Palutena because, I actually say Bowser Jr. is a more important fit than, like, even Mega Man. Yeah, and then Palutena is there because, I mean, Kid Icarus is Sakurai's baby, and I want to give it some acknowledgement and some love. It didn't fit for a 50 character, though, because we had to add in Pokemon Trainer eventually. And also because I'm just very biased toward, like, Wolf. Realistically, Wolf should be below Byleth. So, what characters should we add next? Do we got any more first-party Nintendo IPs? Wii Fit Trainer I'm gonna refrain on, because I already made my argument for why Wii Fit Trainer is kind of not relevant anymore, and why the Miis are better Wii representation. I mean, you got Min Min. I don't want to add Min Min, though. Is that, like... Fine, I'll add Min Min. I don't want to, but, like... ARMS as a series failed. I feel like having Min Min in the Smash roster is just... I'm actually not adding Min Min until the 70 characters. Fuck that. I'm really passionate about how much they shouldn't have added Min Min to the game. If you wanted a first-party Nintendo character, then pick one that people actually would have wanted, like Bandana D or some shit. So I think at this point we're free to go into more like third-party territory. I feel like a lot of these third parties are kind of more outlandish to have. Oh, Simon isn't, though. Simon's a pretty safe pick. Bayonetta's an extremely safe pick, too. The only character I could think to put above, like, Simon is Pyra Mythra, but do I want to? No, I feel like Simon's more important to video game history in general. And when we have 60 characters, we can think about general video game history instead of just Nintendo stuff. Oh yeah, and then Bayonetta is like such a safe pick at this point that I'd actually put her like above Ryu and like, not quite Mega Man levels though. Because, I mean, Bayonetta nowadays is only on Nintendo consoles, right? I mean, after her announcement on Smash 4, Bayonetta kind of became more engrossed with Nintendo than she ever was before. So she's kind of like, she's still a third-party character, I believe, but she has more of a Nintendo link now than she ever has. I think she's a really safe pick for a 60 character. She might even be safe for a 50 character, but I'm not quite sure. So, and now we are on to the 70 characters. This is where I'm going to finally add in Ice Climbers. It's where I'm going to add in Sheik too. Sheik may be Zelda, and Sheik may not have like anything going on in the Zelda series in terms of like what she actually does, but she exhibits a relatively unique archetype, even if Greninja does that too. And I mean, she's just pretty cool. I don't really got much else to say other than that. Also, Zelda just desperately needs reps at this point. And then Pyra Mythra are considered the same character, I believe, so I'll put them in the bottom. Pyra Mythra is also another one that I feel like is just kind of we just gotta get this out over with. Min Min is too. Min Min probably more so than Pyra Mythra. They're the we gotta get this over with characters. And then in terms of another Pokemon rep, I mean, this is where we add in Incineroar, for sure. This is definitely where we add in Incineroar. I know people are really gonna disagree with Incineroar taking this long to be in there, because, oh, it's a grappler, we need more grappler characters, and it's like, guess what, we should be representing Pokemon instead, we should be representing Pokemon as a franchise, instead of archetypes in general. If you want to add in another grappler, there are options. Hell, you could alter a lot of things in order to make sure that, like, proper grapplers archetypes can exist in Smash. I don't really think we need Incineroar in there to do that. Not to say Incineroar's a bad addition, I really like Incineroar in Smash, it's just, in terms of, like, representing Pokemon in general, Incineroar doesn't really do shit. Oh, don't get me wrong, it's the best Pokemon in VGC, but, like, a competitive Pokemon is very niche. Even VGC is quite niche. Smogon is, like, ultra niche, but, and, like, outside of VGC, there's not, like, much going on for Incineroar in terms of, like, general popularity. So then, what is next? This is where, oh yeah, Roy, obviously. I'd actually say Chrom even, belongs in a 70 character roster. Both Roy and Chrom are important, to have in a 70 character roster. I think that can be, oh yeah, then we gotta, like, do some third parties. Hero, Banjo, and Sephiroth are who I would pick for those. Don't get me wrong, Sora is the most bombshell reveal ever, but I feel like the fact that Disney characters can't be incorporated is... I feel like it hurts how faithfully they're able to adapt Sora. Granted, I'm saying this as someone who hasn't played Kingdom Hearts. One of my coworkers actually tells me to play Kingdom Hearts a lot. He's told me it's a good series because he knows how much of a Persona fan I am. But I guess I gotta add in a new tier for 90. I forgot. That just kind of blinked my mind, honestly. But yeah, now we're thinking, I think the third-party characters will probably go. They're allowed to go a lot higher in here. In order of how important they are, I actually think this order is fine. So, in terms of an 80 character roster, what do we go with now? I feel like this is a good time to add Ken. It's actually a little bit tough from here on out. Ken's kind of like the only no-brainer here, because you can go a lot of different paths. I think ZSS can be added at this point. She may just be Samus again, but hey, she is a very different playing Samus. It's basically the Sheik argument. Actually, for that reason, I'm gonna put ZSS above Chrom. Chrom's gonna be the 80 character because actually, I'm actually gonna be a little bit harsh toward Chrom actually, for now at least, because I wanna add Lucina before I can add Chrom. Fuck, this is where it gets really hard. Oh yeah, third party wise, Sora I had to add. No doubt. Oh, fuck, this is difficult. Wii Fit Trainer I can add at this point. Because like I still love the Wii series, and while the Miis are a better overall encapsulation of the Wii series, Wii Fit is still very solid representation for it. And then I think at this point I can add in the other links. I've been trying not to, because I feel like having 3 different links is... I don't love the concept. I would prefer for a Zelda Smash roster to, you know, have more like unique Zelda characters from other Zelda games. But hey, I like this. But hey, these are links from different Zelda games that represent different Zelda games. If their movesets actually reflected that, I would love these characters, but they don't. And that's the main reason why I'm very hesitant on adding them. So yeah, I think they're fine here. And then I think this is where we can add Joker, Terry, and Kazuya. I would say Kazuya is probably the most important of them, and then then Joker, then Terry. That's probably how I'd go. Joker was a very... I'm gonna put Joker a little bit above the links, actually, even. Even above Wii Fit. Because Joker was for sure a bombshell reveal. Joker was very much a bombshell reveal. And while Persona 5 at the time wasn't like a huge franchise, Smash Bros. heavily increased the popularity of Persona in general, and Persona is a huge series now. Persona is one of the most beloved JRPGs to ever exist, and it is now one of the biggest, partly because of how fucking hyped that Smash reveal was, and also off the back of just how insanely fucking goated Persona 5 is as a game in general. Persona 5 is actually my personal favorite video game, although I'm not going to let that bias judge the fact that, realistically speaking, Joker is nowhere near as important as most of the characters are in a Nintendo-based fighting game. And then Terry and Kazuya are other fighting game characters. I think those are important to represent. And then the two last characters I think I would represent are actually going to be Lucina and Chrom, because, I mean, in terms of design, these are actually some of the most well-designed Echo Fighters. They're a really good showcase for the concept of Echo Fighters, and I think they deserve to be in there as a result. So now we rank the disappointment in the game of life. And out of all of these, my favorite is actually Pichu. Pichu is who I'd want to stay most out of the characters in the 90s section. So, yeah, because like Pichu is a genuinely decent joke character, very cute, very solid. I'd actually say Piranha Plant a little bit above Pikachu though, because Piranha Plant is a funnier joke. And then I think we can go Richter. Actually, I go Richter above Pichu, because actually Richter above Piranha Plant even. Richter is probably like the most deserving to be here out of the characters that I wasn't able to rank properly. It's just there's a lot of space here, and it's difficult. It's difficult to make it work. So Richter is definitely a very solidly important part. Richter existing helps make Simon's moveset more coherent, because Simon and Richter's movesets are borrowing from each other's games. So like, you can have Simon, just Simon, but it makes more sense to have both Simon and Richter. I feel like that could be a decent justification to have Richter in an 80 character roster, but in my opinion, it just isn't enough. So then, next up for this, what would I go for? I think, actually, I think this is Daisy's time. Daisy was just generally handled really poorly in Smash because she's just a carbon copy of Peach. Extremely disappointing. But hey, if they give her an original moveset, that'd be cool. And then Dark Pit, I basically have the exact same thoughts on. And then Dark Samus, Dr. Mario, and Corrin. I'd say I go Dark Samus next. Dark Samus is pretty much the exact same case as Daisy and Dark Pit. And then Corrin is next. Corrin is single-handedly the most boneheaded addition to any Smash game. Like, why? No one gives a fuck about this character, no one gives a fuck about his game, and the fact that he got added at all is just kinda insulting, honestly. It was the tipping point when people realized that there are way too many Fire Emblem characters in Smash. And Corrin is the reason why that meme exists. So yeah, fuck Corrin. And then Dr. Mario, in my opinion, is the single most what addition to any Smash game. Don't get me wrong, it's kind of funny, but the joke isn't that funny compared to just how downright confusing it is that there are two versions of Mario. The fact that Dr. Mario doesn't even do a great job at representing Dr. Mario in general. If Dr. Mario can exist, then why can't other versions of Mario exist? It just opens up such a can of worms. It's such a ridiculous... I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It just... no, it just leaves such a fucking bad taste in my mouth. But yeah, that is my finished cutting the Smash roster tier list. These are like 9 different versions of what I would do for that. So I'll see you guys next time. I'll make sure to read all the comments flaming me for having a take that I disagree with, that someone disagrees with me on. And I'll see you fuckers tomorrow, hopefully, unless some crazy shit happens.